Action movie.
Action.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are at. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Tonight.
Tonight show with Jimmy Fallon.
Tonight.
Coffee with Abhishek.
Hello. Hi, this is Abhishek. Welcome to Rekindle Club, and this is Revise with Rekindle, the greatest podcast ever made. Conditions applied. Hello, everyone. I am Abhishek, and welcome to the third episode of Revise with Rekindle. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Kailash Shahani. He has done so many things, and I would like him to introduce himself. So, if you could tell a little bit about yourself.
Firstly, thank you, Abhishek, for the invitation, and I'm glad to be part of the show. I've seen your previous episodes, and it's really mind-boggling.
Thank you so much.
So about me, I've lived in few countries. I've traveled to 30 plus countries. So travel is a big element of my life. But professionally, I run a HR consulting company.
Oh, okay.
And for my karma, I also have a NGO which focuses on women-centric issues.
How wonderful. What is your HR company called?
It's called Morpheous Consulting. It's
Okay.
it's a 15-year-old firm featured on BBC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. And what is your blog called, travel blog?
It's called Food Review Online. More than 50,000 people follow that.
Wonderful.
I've covered more than 800 restaurants in Mumbai.
How wonderful. So your plates are literally full with work and
Yeah, but one plate is still empty.
which is
You're doing all this, but you still want to share it with someone, right?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why I'm here.
Oh, nice. Thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate your time. So tell me something. What made you start this travel blog? What experiences led to the decision of starting a travel blog?
I think it all started as a kid when you would travel with your parents. You have that instinct of being into travel, and you generate that kind of love for being around in the world and experiencing cultures, food, and everything. When I got into my working career, what really happened is that I did not get much time to travel, and I think a big element of my life was kind of missing. So I think I started traveling with that aspect, but other than that, it was more about self-development. I think travel is the best experience, is the best coach that you can ever have.
Yeah. I think there is a guy called Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
He said the biggest antidote of ignorance is traveling.
Yeah.
So if you travel more, your ignorance level, you start understanding.
Absolutely. For example, I've been to Africa, and before being to Africa, the perception about the entire continent was more to do with the what you've seen online on the news and whatever you've read. But when I landed in Africa, it was a very different experience altogether. I spent 3 months. I went to around 7 countries. People are amazing, food is great, and it is still something that everyone who loves to travel should definitely try it out.
So what are your top 3 countries that you have traveled to?
I think every country that I've traveled to has a different element that they've got into my life. When I talk about Jordan, it is the historical element of what I've studied and what I've experienced, and more to do with the Southeast Asian countries is what I've done. Is more to do with the whole experience altogether.
Nice.
But when it comes to Europe, it is more about the whole travel blogging and meeting other people who are going through the similar experience. And Africa as a continent was a very rich experience. I think there's a history. A lot of Indians were taken to Africa and they've lived there, and they've actually like 6 generations of what you can meet over there. And that's exactly what I really enjoyed, the whole cultural experience.
Nice. Lovely. So traveling is sorted, your work is sorted, and there was this third option. You said you wanted to share it with someone.
Yeah.
So could you tell me about your life experiences and dating experiences, if you are okay with it?
So let me get a little more personal in this. I think a couple of years back I got divorced, and to be very honest, I wasn't sure as to how I'm going to face the dating world because I haven't done it before that, right? So
was it a love marriage or?
Yeah, it was. I was 21 when I got married, so
Bal Vivah.
Yeah, Bal Vivah. But for me, it was more about someone that I fell in love, got into a relationship, and I wanted to spend my life with, and that's how it was. And to be very honest, nothing wrong in that. Nothing wrong in somebody getting married early or getting married at the age of 40. I think it's more about just meeting the right person. Now, for whatever reason that it didn't work out, I still take the best of everything and move on in life. So now here I am back into the real world, I don't know, like, after so many years how the dating thing works. So I was clueless, I was scared, and I was not sure as to how I'm going to approach people. Dating apps were there, but I was still more of an offline and old school person, and I wanted to still explore that world if it still works. Tried that, but unfortunately, because of the hectic lifestyle that we live, the curiosity around the dating apps was growing, and therefore I wanted to explore the dating apps and see how it goes.
And when was the first time you downloaded a dating app?
I think it was a couple of years back, and I mean, that point to this point, it's been a mixed bag of experiences. I think I've met varieties of people where people are just looking for something which is much more long term, or to people who are not looking at anything beyond a particular conversation. There are people that I meet or I've spoken to who are not even looking at dating, who are not even looking at meeting. They just want some virtual friend. Right. I mean, there are people like that as well.
Yeah,
so I think it's all about the kind of lifestyle that we're living in right now in a city like Mumbai, where people have got, probably I wouldn't want to use the word lonely, but it is that, which is leading to people to come onto a social platform and just have a conversation with someone.
So, okay, so your experiences has been a mixed bag. Could you tell me some good experiences that you have had?
Yeah, I mean, I've met some really interesting people. I would say these people are well-to-do in life. They're settled into what they want from their professional aspect, and someone similar to what I've gone through as well. But again, there are people who have never been married. There are people who've been going through a process of divorce, or there are people who have been divorced for many years. So I think there is a three basic categories of people that I've
never married, who are going through a process of divorce, and who have been divorced for a lot of time.
Absolutely. Yes, okay. Yeah, like the separation period they're going through, they're just exploring whether they want this or not. But other than that, I think there are three broad categories of people that I have met. People who I think who have never been married before. I think these are the people who have not understood as to what the marriage concept is, or how it happened, or what happened. So they are open to the whole idea, but I think they would still prefer somebody who's never been married before, something with the same wavelength. Right. Yeah, I think that is.
So has any female told you that, okay, I'm single and you are a divorcee?
Yeah.
I don't think this is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't. So I think initially I was like, oh, I didn't know. I mean, it's not like I have a cancer or something. I'm just divorced. Yeah, I mean, but it is a fact that you learn with, and you go on with it. It's okay. It's their choice. It's their perspective. Be to yourself. That's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Each to each his own. I think it's perfectly fine. What about any bad experiences that you would want to share?
Oh, I mean, I have a list.
Top three.
Yeah,
always
let's stick to the one which is right in my head right now, because so I was interacting with this person who said or claimed to be single. And we decided to go out for dinner and say, okay, let's catch up over a conversation and see where it goes. Maybe in the probably 20 minutes in the conversation, I was told that, oh, she's not single, she's separated, which is fine. I can understand that. But her husband was living in the next door. I mean, not even the next door, literally in the same apartment, but in the next room. I was like, how do you call that separation? Oh, we're going through this for the last 5 years because we have this situation. And it's like, okay, fair enough. I can still, let's hold on to it and find a base as to what we can find in common solution. Eventually, it was more about, so how did he come? Her husband, her so-called husband, has actually dropped her to the date and has come to pick her up as well after the date.
That's a very open relationship.
That is the most weirdest thing that I had experienced, because then eventually she said, see, me and my husband are okay with it. Are you open to that?
Open to what?
To an open relationship. Basically, she didn't want to bring it up in the first go. It was more about, are you open to this right now? Okay. I mean, not something that I wanted to have on my bucket list, but definitely I'll let you know if something comes up. But
so you said no?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, I know what I want, and I'm not looking for something like this at this stage, which will break me even further, or create that kind of, I would say, insecurity in my head again. I don't want to be that. I wanted a relationship, or I wanted to be with a person which is mine, which is at least in a common perspective that we both are looking forward to, spending some quality time together in the long term. Right. That is what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at a fling or a one night stand. I'm looking at this stage of my life. I'm looking at something which is much more mature.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you are an avid traveler. You have traveled across countries. You have also used dating apps.
Yeah.
So have you mixed them, merged them, and you have used dating apps across countries?
I think that's a very interesting question because I've actually done that very recently.
Okay.
So I have done this road trip which was close to 11,000 kilometers,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've covered from Mumbai to Kanyakumari, Kanyakumari to Kashmir, and Kashmir back to Mumbai. So I can give you a pan-India experience of a dating app. Cultural
scale.
Yeah. So when I was in Bangalore, the experience was very much that you would expect. You know, it would be, you know, like a small conversation, get to know each other over a beer. So what do you want from this? Things like that. But for me, it was more about, you know, meeting someone from the city, knowing the city more, and you know, they're showing me around. Probably that was more of an experience that I was looking at. As soon as you get to more tier 2 and tier 3 cities, like, you know, you are experiencing something. Like, for example, I met someone in Jaipur, and this person was, I think, really looking for somebody to get married on the dating app.
Okay.
And she said, why don't you come and meet my family as well? I
Oh,
said,
on the first date?
yeah, her idea was, why don't you come home?
Oh, wow.
I was not sure how to respond to that, and I actually went to her home. I actually
That's
didn't
nice.
know.
Yeah,
It is an experience by
So you're
itself.
married now.
Thank God I'm not. But it was more of like, you know, she wanted to show me off to her friends or maybe her family members, like, you know, like, see, this guy is doing this trip, and you know, and I wanted you to meet him. Something like that. I don't know what. I was
The
more.
trophy boyfriend she was hoping for a trophy.
I don't think so. Anybody was looking at a boyfriend or a husband on that night. I think it was more like कि ये देखो, ये मैं एक विचित्र प्राणी लाई हूँ घर पे जो ये पूरा देश घूम रहा है. But it was more to do with you know, I think a cultural thing where I think she thought, okay, we'll just connect, like how probably, you know, you would show off your friend or meet somebody that, okay. But I thought probably yeah, it was more like, okay, meeting somebody on a dating app, right? So what could be the worst case scenario? You know, I didn't know what to expect, so I just went through with it. But eventually, you know, what I remember is her mom, dad in the front seat of the car, and me and her at the back seat, and they had come to drop me back at the hotel. That is
nice.
how it ended.
Very sure.
And not an experience that I would ever imagine or I would ever talk about, but it is something different, right? It did happen. Something in Indore, I met this friend. I don't know what I should call it, but now she's a good friend. We met at a nice coffee place, and it had a lounge bar on the top, and it was really refreshing because she was from America, and she had come to Indore off recently, and she was looking to have a very a conversation with someone who is more traveled the world and, you know, understands culture globally, everything like that. So we sat, we spoke for nearly 3.5 hours.
Wow.
And it was a very one-on-one conversation. But she was like, see, I can date you, I can go out with you if you are here for more days, but if you're looking at something beyond that, it will never happen. I was like, not that I wanted to talk about on the first date, but why exactly did you say that? So she said that my parents are going to go for an arranged marriage, and I'm going to go ahead with that. So my simple question to her was, why are you on a dating app then? She's like, before that happens, I want to go ahead and meet people.
Date and okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are different kind of experiences with different kind of people.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, I've traveled obviously to other continents as well, and the European continent, when I was traveling, it was more to do with, like, you know, hey, let's meet up, and that will happen probably in the first 5-10 chats.
Oh,
okay. In Africa, more like, you know, it was more to do with meeting somebody from an Indian community, but, you know, understanding that country from their perspective. But really nice people, really great to hang out with. Some of them now are my friends on Facebook and Instagram. But I think as a traveler, when you are in a city or a country, you know that you have to go back home, right?
Right.
This is not your home. And I think somewhere they know that as well.
Yeah.
So they already have that perception that this guy is not going to be here for long. So why don't we just go out and have fun?
Right.
They are never constructively looking at making this into a long-term relationship.
Right.
I think that is where the disconnect is. Maybe if this would have been, like, for example, that Indore girl, if she would have, you know, actually had a conversation which would lead to something long-term, I would have probably pursued it. I would have, it doesn't matter if you're in another city, you're not that far off. I would have probably taken that to the next level. But because you have this disconnect before you even meet the person, I think somewhere you are probably, it's a cliffhanger anyway, so it's not going to work out.
Would you date somebody, a long distance dating, would you do that?
Depends on how strong the emotional connect is, because if that is the only thing that you're holding on to before making that commitment, then I think it has to be a very transparent, one-on-one, candid conversation. How are we going to make this work? If you really don't have that sorted, I don't think so. I cannot do that, because for me, I'm more of I'm a Cancerian. Cancerians are very much a social people, yet they want to be in their inner circle. So I might have a lot of people in my secondary or third level connection, but in my primary connection I would have just 3 or 4 people, and I will hold on to them, that I will I will hold on to my life. It is that kind of connection I build, and those connections are my world, and I stick to that. So if you're not part of that primary connection or my world, I don't know how to take this forward, because I would love to go out for a drive, I would love to go out for a movie, dinner, travel. I want to do so much with my partner, and I can't do that on a screen. So
I think that also is a very it's a bigger question in terms of long distance relationship versus hyper local relationships. What would people prefer? And I actually think that hyper local relationships make more sense, because you need to be in the proximity of that person, because Zoom call or Google Meet will long-term sustainability, I don't think is exists.
You don't have to be in a pizza delivery radius, but at least be in a radius of somebody who's that you can pick up the phone. Hey, listen, why don't you just come down? I want to go out for a drive. That way. If you're going to be somewhere that 1,000 kilometers away, I'm going to even contemplate to make that phone call as to why should I even call that person? So that whole notion is just killed in that moment. But if you really are connected with someone on one-on-one, that emotional connect that is available, and you know that it's just a temporary phase, it's not going to be there for long, then I guess you can still do that. But if it's a long-term, long-distance relationship, I don't think so it works for anyone. If they claim to make it work, then I think they're just being lying to themselves.
Or cheating on each other.
I would say that is possible, yes.
Cool. So what has been the second worst experience that you have had?
I think when this incident happened, I was kind of, probably I wouldn't say disheartened with the experience, but I would say it was like a learning curve for me. So I thought I'll take a little break from this and see if it is really my thing or not. Came back on the app maybe another 2 months down the line, and I decided to meet someone. Again, this was initially a very different kind of experience, because the conversation was nice, the photograph matched to what exactly was written and shown, and it was very much in compatibility. What really happened is some things that probably I should have asked, my probably concern that was is to do with the smoking and the drinking part. As to, when you say you drink casually, right? This person ordered a bottle of wine, finished it in 20 minutes, got another bottle of wine, finished another half an hour. By the end of the night, she was done with 3.5 bottles. I don't know if you want
to call... That's so casual. That's very casual.
I don't want to know if this casual drinking for people, or is it just me, I'm being a very conservative...
No, this is not at all casual for sure.
So what really happened was, although the conversation went really well, it became kind of a turn off, because then she started doing things and saying things which I wouldn't generally do on a first date. Then I said, maybe this is just a one-off thing. And then I said, let's meet again for a cup of coffee. There is no scope of alcohol. And then she admitted that, she's going through a bad divorce, and she's going through a phase where she doesn't know what she wants. And she's probably taking the help of alcohol to go through it. And I understand that I have no problem with that. And I respect what she's going through. But, that phase that she's going through is such a phase that, you would never be with the right person, because somewhere you're just going through multiple people, multiple situations.
Are you in touch with her? Do you keep in touch with people?
Well, we ended up becoming friends. Since I had nothing against her, I became good friends with her. Now she's married, and I wish her all the
good. So the wine is gone.
I hope. But nothing that really... I had a very fair and candid conversation with her that, listen, I'm sorted. I know exactly what I want. You're in a phase where you probably are going through a situation where you're still exploring. You've recently been divorced, or you're going through a situation where you want to know what exactly is something that you want. And I'm okay with that. But I don't want to be one of the choices that you make
Right.
over a period of 10 different dates.
Right.
And I would rather hold on to you as a person because you are a nice human being. I would love to be in touch with you. But I think I'm in a different phase, probably 3 years before
Yeah.
to what I was. And I completely agree with you, and that's fair enough. So after 3.5 years, she's married now.
Nice.
So I wish her all the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, so do you think there is a big mismatch of it in terms of dating app profiles, especially with women? There's a big mismatch what they show in their pictures and what they actually look like.
I think it's not gender specific. I think.
But you would know only females.
Absolutely. No,
because-
but I've got the feedback from a lot of people who have been my common friends, and they've told me the same thing. And that is absolutely a big problem. You know,
Right.
because I was on a date with someone and she put up a picture of some 5 years back, you know. I mean, I want to know the real you. And she said she's not on Instagram, she's not on Facebook. So the only way I could actually know what she looks like is I had to Google her name, or probably she's that pictures that she has on, the dating app. Now, unfortunately, I have no problem with you looking different. But my fact is that, if you're not comfortable enough to even express yourself in the real way that you are, then I don't know how much of the conversation that you're going to have with me is also real.
Right.
So I don't like something or someone which is pretentious or someone who's trying to be something else, because then the real connect is kind of missing.
And so you saw a big mismatch in her physical appearance?
Absolutely, I did, and I kind of brought it up in the conversation as well. So she said it's a 5-year-old picture. She didn't really click pictures after that, which I really find it amusing, because women not clicking pictures for 5 years. It's something that I don't know.
She's a spy or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I told her, see, this is something that I'm not comfortable with, but I still went through with the entire date. We ended up on a good note.
You're a gentleman. You're a good gentleman.
I think everybody should do that. I mean, gender specific or not, this is something that everybody should go through. You decided to meet, regardless to whatever happens on the date, regardless to whatever is the conversation, you know in your head it's not compatible or it's not going to work out, but still go through with it, end it on a good note. I think that's a basic chivalry which we can expect, or which we should offer. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time for everyone, because it's creating a bad experiences even in that evening that you spent.
Right.
And you're going back with a bad taste. If you end it on a good note and you say, hey, it's always good to meet someone like you, but I'm looking for something else, but at least you ended on a happy note, good note, you're going back positive, that's fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's actually good. And I think I've been told by a lot of women as well that men also, they're balding and then they have 5-year and 10-year-old pictures and
Yeah,
stuff.
that is.
You're right, it's not a gender specific
Yeah,
thing.
I
But,
think it is, yeah.
I read somewhere, there is this quote that women like what they hear and men like what they see.
Yeah.
So men lie in their bios and women lie in their pictures.
Oh, I think that's an absolute nail on, because when you talk about pictures or when you talk about bio, I think most of it is scripted,
Right.
I think even the conversation starters are scripted. The bios that have been written are something which I feel like I've read it so many places. It feels like somebody's created a pre-designed template for someone and you just copy paste it.
Yeah.
But I think people are missing the whole point of doing this. I mean, if you're looking for something very casual, it doesn't work. Don't even put anything. Just say that I'm looking for casual. It doesn't matter. But if you're looking for something which is substantial, which is meaningful, you obviously have to talk about yourself. What you've done or what you want to do, what kind of person you're looking at, something. I mean, that kind of gives an idea that, okay, this person that I'm actually going to swipe right, this is the kind of conversation I'm going to have, or this is the kind of person that I'm getting into. If you don't even, be yourself in your own bio, what are you expecting people to talk to you?
True. Has anyone complimented you about your bio?
Absolutely. I think thanks to the whole travel journey that I've done, people have actually commented and they've said, after a long time somebody's written a proper bio, or it's not sugar coated, it's not fabricated, it's the real me. I'm talking about my travel experiences, the person that I'm looking at, the person that I am, so that you can make an informed decision when you're swiping right. Yes, you're just doing maybe a 1 second thing, but at least you're getting information whether to do it or not also. And I think it's my right to express myself, and it's your right to know what kind of person I am.
Right. how do you know? I mean, it's just a question that I just came up in my head.
Yeah.
How do you know if that person is being truthful, or he's or she's lying on a dating on her bio, on his bio? Like how do you get a sense कि यार ये तो फेंक रही है या तो फेंक रहा है something like that?
I think यहाँ पर मेरा professional experience काम आ जाता है. Being in
Consulting.
HR, yeah, absolutely. I think I don't know about others what they look at, what they do, but for me, I run an HR consulting company, right? I look at bios all day long, right? I'm looking at 30 seconds. I'm looking at a resume and I'm seeing that okay, yeah, this guy is just no, it's not true. He can't be doing all that at that age. So when I read a bio on a dating app, I think it's your instinct. That's number one. Number two, you know that you've read this before and you know that's copy paste. Number three, you look at things that they're talking about and kind of experiences that you've had in the past. You match that and you say, oh no, this is absolutely just crazy. It's not possible. It's just buffoon. I can't really go ahead with this conversation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Oh, nice. And how do you, when do you know that this conversation is going nowhere? Like, what are these red flags that you see when you're chatting to a girl?
I think, so eventually you want to get to a conversation, right? I mean, you're chatting, but the chats need to lead to a conversation, and conversation needs to probably meeting that person. But when that transition doesn't happen, I mean, when your chats are getting responded or you're responding to a chat after a long time, I think that interest you can come to know when the person responds instantly, or they are looking forward to the conversation, or they initiate the conversation as well. So sometimes what I do is I do have a chat, and then I wait for the person to initiate the conversation as well sometimes. If not, then I'll probably do it one more time, but after that I won't do it again. Because then I know the interest level is not mutual. And if somebody from the other end is doing that, I would definitely respond to it. Then I would lead to probably a phone call and maybe have a conversation over the calls a couple of times before we meet. I want to see that transition happening. That's how I look at it.
So do you ask for their numbers, or do you do that call facility?
I think I just the calling thing on the app is just horrible. I mean, I've heard the conversation. It's like echoing on a mountain, So if you really want to have a conversation, I think it's more about having a detailed conversation. Then you need to probably exchange numbers. But I don't ask for numbers. What I say, what do you think? Should we take this conversation to another level, or maybe should we exchange numbers, or should we talk on call? That way. So I want to know if it's a mutual interest. 90% of the time, people would appreciate and they'll say yes. And we would exchange numbers, but 10% people would say no, maybe we are not there yet, and they want to know me more.
Right.
And that's fair. I respect both ends. Yeah. Right. But I think that's the way it should be.
But I personally feel that the process of eternal chatting never works. You cannot eternally chat with a person. You have to get the number and meet her or meet him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you believe that there is? Do you agree with that, number one? And have you ever not spoken to somebody, you have not eternally chatted with someone, something like that?
No, I've actually put forward and said that I cannot chat with you forever. I mean, I'm not looking for virtual friends. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I think that's quite enough.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm looking for more. And being traveled all around the world, met so many people. I mean, I'm not running short on conversations. You can sit next to me and I'll have travel stories that will go on for next 72 hours.
Right.
So I'm not going to run short on conversation. Probably you're the one who's not ready for this next level. And that I can't do because I don't need to be a virtual friend to someone. I'm on a dating app for a specific reason. I want to meet people, I want to date someone and look for a relationship. I'm not here to become someone's friend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you have an NGO that you operate?
Yeah, actually during the COVID, what I realized is that the first lockdown is where I realized that okay, maybe you're just going through an experience. I don't know how to contribute, what to do, but some of my friends were actually out there helping out people, part of a bigger community who was trying to make a difference. I joined them. In fact, I was at the Kurla terminus for nearly 2 months. We were distributing food, clothing, sanitizers, whatever that it is. We were doing that in collaboration with BMC. But I felt that it was a little bureaucratic of whatever was happening, whereas I wanted to help more people, but I couldn't make a difference. So when the second lockdown happened, I decided to create my own platform.
Okay.
It was called Mumbai Help,
Mumbai Help.
and it was more to do with family and friends coming together and helping out people. But the project was an instant success because people had seen me doing and delivering things in the past. So for me, it was more easy to tell them that this is my plan, this is what I intend to do. So outside Sion Hospital, we were distributing nearly 500 cooked meals, and we've given out more than 10,000 hygiene boxes. So the entire project was more towards women-centric issues, and in fact then we ran through with some of the schools development project, given out stationery to kids. So anything that focuses on women as the center of the solution, we wanted to help out on that, because I feel that in Indian context, if you take care of the lady of the house, she's ensure that the rationing is happening properly, the hygiene is taken care of, the kids' education is maintained. So I think they were very pivotal in terms of understanding as to how to find solutions to the problems that they had. So we focused primarily on women, and we got featured on various radio shows.
Oh, nice.
Newspapers covered us, but for me it was more of a personal impact that we created. And I think that was one of the most blessed moment of my life.
Fulfilling, blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're still running that. We're still doing that in a small way, very personalized, one-on-one kind of work. Because obviously the COVID impact is no longer there, but there are still repercussions of the COVID, which we're trying to address.
Right. Speaking of COVID, we have seen a lot of divorces happening in that phase in the last 2-3 years in COVID, and of course sadly people have lost their companions as well. So and you know what we do. So what do you think, how could Rekindle be better in whatever current stage we are? How could we be better? Do you have any suggestions for us? Do you think it's a platform that I should pursue,
I think the name itself is very inspiring. I mean, the fact that you're talking about Rekindle, it's like from an optimistic person's point of view. I mean, yes, I am divorced, but do I need another shot on my love life? Am I supposed to be romantic again or not? Yes, of course. I do deserve another chance. I do deserve love, and I do deserve to be settled and with my life partner. And Rekindle seems to address that specific issue. I think when you go on a dating app or even a matrimonial app for that matter, I think people are looking for something very generic, something very long, broad and based. I was telling this to my friend the other day. It's like a buffet.
Right.
It's like there are many things that you might or might not want, but it's a sheer waste of time. It's a sheer understanding that you're going through so many plates or so many things to understand that this is what your type of palette is. I think Rekindle addresses that in a very specific way, and it is trying to bridge that gap, and that is why I really love the interface. I think this is something that is a wonderful idea, and you guys should definitely take this to the next level, because there are many people like me out there who understand that sometimes things don't work in terms of a marriage, but that doesn't mean that they don't have a right to have a life again, right? And want to be settled with someone. So I think this is something which is very specific, and it's addressing to a big genre of community, I think, and that's something which is very wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your belief.
Yeah.
With Rekindle Club, we bring in content for our previously married community, that is divorced, separated and widow. We tie up with industry veterans. We bring in curated content so that we make your life a little bit better. Do follow us on Instagram, Rekindle_club. Download our app on Play Store and App Store. And if you know somebody who fits the bill, do forward this content. Stay tuned to Rekindle Club.